there's a lot of talk about Jerome Powell, Fed chair. And for a year, he has pretty much been a shoo-in to be the next Fed chair. Well, now, apparently, Biden says it's between Brainard and Powell. Now, I kind of like Brainard. She's very similar. Her name's Lau. She's very similar to Jerome Powell in a number of ways. She's always been somewhat of a dove, not a hawk, but she's been very reasonable. Her comments that I have followed over the years have always been logical and been kind of like-minded with her. So I kind of like that about her. But I said a year ago, and they're saying he's always been considered a shoo-in, but maybe not now, they're saying. Well, I knew that a year ago. There was no possible way that he was going to be nominated. Remember me saying, Jerome, why don't you just understand, do what's right for America, because you got no shot at keeping your job. And I really believe that. So, I'm getting ahead of the curve. I might be totally wrong, and Biden might surprise us and appoint Chairman Powell. I think it's extremely unlikely. They need someone in there that they can mold and push around, that Janet Yellen can dictate to. It'll probably be relatively good if she gets in for the financial markets, for the things that are all things financial. It'll probably do pretty well because she is perceived and will be perceived as much more dovish. In other words, leave things alone. Let's keep interest rates low. Let's keep the money supply flowing. And, we can maintain somewhat of a stronger dollar, and we're going to do what we got to do to take care of inflation without raising rates. And so she'll be good for the financial markets. I don't think she'll be good for the economy, because I think she's going to, listen, if she gets appointed, for that matter, if Jerome Powell gets reappointed, it is because they've had very long, drawn out, behind closed doors, behind the press meetings, the administration, Janet Yellen in particular, with Jerome Powell and Brainard as well, and getting their ideology, letting them know what they expect, letting them know what they're looking for. And, I'm sure those two, if they had two separate meetings, weren't nodding their head and say, oh, yeah, I'm in. But I'm sure they didn't raise any kinds of concerns about it. And if they did, that's the person that's definitely not going to get it. And if they didn't, then they've got a shot at getting it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, but it'll be good for the markets in all likelihood. I think it's a bad thing for the economy. I think it's ultimately going to be a bad thing for the markets. We need to raise rates. We need to raise rates. We should have raised rates back in March. Was the first time I was really ranting and raving over, but we should have done it then. We didn't. We should do it now. We need to combat inflation. We need to combat inflation. We need to strengthen our dollar, particularly since we continue to weaken our dollar every time we run the printing press, which is running 24/7. So we need to raise rates. We just need to do it, or we're never going to have a chance of combating inflation. It's not just about oil, Joe. That's what he thinks. It's not just about oil. It's not just about energy. There's a whole lot more to it. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen
And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.